Hello, everybody! Didn't think I'd get this far. It's the second week of the qshow with me, Josel Nicolas, your host. And I still do not know what I am doing. How have you been? Aray, putang yung pusa. How are you? Are you enjoying the weather? I haven't. It's been fucking hot. It's been so fucking hot that I've been sweating through all my clothes. So you could say fuck this weather and fuck God. I'm kidding. I'm a Christian. On this episode of the qshow, second episode, we have my very good friend, game developer, and all-around smart person, Gwen Foster. She's been making games for as long as I've been making comic books and making a mess. An anecdote before we start. We were watching the Wolverine movie. The good one, the third one, Logan. With old man Wolverine. And she was not enjoying the movie. Towards the end, when Wolverine had died and the kids had buried him in the woods, and the little Mexican lady girl turned the little gravestone cross marker, turned it on the side and turned it into an X. She was saying to me as she was slowly turning, that damn cat, as she was slowly turning, she was saying to me, tang inang sining tong corny putang ina. And as she looked upon my face, she saw tears. She saw a man broken. She saw her friend sobbing and crying because Wolverine had died. And I just said, don't look at me, don't look at me. And I'm ashamed of that story, but it is a true story, and it is a story of fondness. And I feel like it is a clear reflection of our relationship, as she has seen me in the worst states of me, and she knows the worst of me. But this is not about the worst. This is about the best of us. This is about becoming better versions of ourselves, and like just talking about culture. We're gonna talk about Filipino myth and how we can improve upon it by dissecting it and shitting on it a little bit. We're gonna talk about video games. We're gonna talk about Animal Crossing for a bit. I actually had to cut out a lot of Animal Crossing parts, but that's fine. That's fine because you're here and I'm here, and we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine. We're all gonna be fine.
Okay.
Hi. Pakilala ka.
Ako si Gwen, game developer, bizdev at Robot Teddy. Hinahandle ko yung Super Hot Presents, which is indie games fund for weird niche experimental games. And then, what else do I do? Feel ko, IGDA, Global Game Jam. Masyado madami. Indie Fiesta. So, hindi kami nakapektuhan ng COVID kasi by default remote work. Pero, yun nga, I think nakita ko na yata sa'yo na dapat magkatrabaho na ako sa Secret HQ na yun na yung work office ko. Pero dahil nagka-Mount na yun, tapos Mount Taal pala, hindi pala nagka-Taal, tapos nagka-COVID, parang nadali. So, pero kapag wala na to, hopefully, and kapag nag-open na sila ulit, sila yung doon ako mag-work kasi maraming masarap na food surrounding the area. At saka, para lang makakita ako ng tao kasi otherwise, like, nasa bahay lang ako.
Para makakita ka ng mga pokpok.
Oo. Sa
Secret
Burg.
HQ yung co-working space ng Comic Committee actually.
Oo.
Cool na.
Originally nga, sabi nga ni Paulo Heras, kasi nag-message ako na parang magkano per day. Tapos sabi nila, like, hindi punta ka lang free. Tapos sabi ko, paano pag pumunta ako everyday? Like, kailangan nagbayad ako. Like, sobrang bait ni Paulo.
Sobrang bait niya. Stand-up guy.
Like, and yun, like, super supportive. Tapos, one of the reasons why I also wanted to work at Secret HQ is kasi medyo selfish reason siya. Pero I feel like a lot of local comics would benefit if they were digitalized or redone in another way. Kasi parang yung twine, diba, na easy. I mean, like, from a programmer's perspective, it's a good entry point, especially if you're doing narrative-based games. And dahil mga komikero, diba? So, pwede siyang another way of how to experience. And then you have platforms like itch.io where people could interact. And then, pwedeng, especially yung possibility of multi-branch na narrative in comics na choose your own adventure, which is copyrighted. But, whatever. Na parang, pwede siya, like, kasi diba yung Bandersnatch was actually pitched to Netflix as a twine game.
So, yun yung ginamit nilang pang sulat eh.
Now, which is, like, it would be interesting to see comic people with the stuff that they do. And that was like, my ulterior motive or selfish motive as to why, like, I would work at Secret HQ just so that, I think it benefits both industries.
I think si Paul Harris is very forward-thinking and I think pwede naman siya mag-facilitate.
Yeah, oo. So, like, it would be super interesting to have stuff like that. Especially kasi, like, sa Melbourne, ang daming komikero na gumagamit ng twine. Tapos, interesting, kasi parang dahil hindi sila locked into, alam mo yung usual
para malinaw lang, yung twine ay isang programming language na HTML-based or something? Na you could create your own, choose your own adventure style things.
Yeah, and it's good for prototyping, stuff like that, compared to like Renti.
So, sa Melbourne, madaming mga komikero gumagamit ng twine?
Oo. Tapos ang gaganda ng mga ginawa nila. Like, hindi ko talaga makakalimutan yung isa na...
The one about being fat?
Huh?
There was that one you linked me about yung pagiging overweight and parang body acceptance.
Positivity. That's one. Tapos that was made by a Vietnamese.
Oh.
I think it's Vietnamese. I think they were Vietnamese. And another one na parang nakita ko din na gumawa siya ng like menu na parang siyang medyo Apple Santa Maria type of comic. Pero like menu siya na parang like jokes and then like ganon na okay, nasa cafe ka and then menu of memories or experiences. Yeah. Which is honestly like super interesting, tas like super lighthearted. And the thing kasi is like there may established community na existing, which is itch.io is the perfect platform. And dahil yung model nila is that at yun the back end, you can choose how much you want to give the platform. So it's not like Steam na 30% or other platforms na certain percentage yung kukunin from the sales. Like, you can choose to give like 10% to itch.io to help the platform, or you could choose na completely everything goes to you and then, or 50% goes to itch and stuff like that.
Pwede ba mag-benta doon ng PDF ko? Ganun?
Yeah, pwede.
Okay.
And it's free. You just have to link your PayPal and then your PayPal to your bank account. So like may existing tools, may existing community. It's very independent, tas medyo art house. So cool siya. Like madami akong na-discover na games doon na typically some people wouldn't consider as games, but they're interesting. And so yun. And I think kasi like at least the local game industry, as much as like we have really good people who do mobile games. Like, it would be interesting to see other people from other fields
I think
na,
that's at least yun yung next step sa atin. Parang, when Atari started, di ba, they were all programmers. Like walang art
Yeah.
people. And then yung second wave came in, I think sila Shigeru Miyamoto, they were not necessarily tech
Programmer.
people. Like,
Yeah.
mas art people sila. So, may
Yeah.
sort of ganun. Democratization, ganun. We're still starting. Pero it's
Accessibility.
interesting sa akin na yung isang way to kasi I think yung comics is not, it's not that it's hard to get a hold of. I think ang isang naisip ko solution for it ay actually parang marketing campaign or educational campaign na pag-i-introduce of it as not heritage, kasi I feel like problema yun na laging heritage siya as if hindi siya nag-exist anymore. Pero like yung actual value in yung work as the work in itself. So, pero that's expensive. All of it is expensive, yun naman. And interesting na, like I don't think that the comics medium will ever die out, pero like certainly hindi na siya industry. Ganun.
Yeah, and ako honestly, like, kasi print is dying in the sense na bumababa na talaga yung demand because everything, like even the big publishers, diba, they're going into mobile or like online PDFs or stuff like that. And diba, webtoons is pretty big. So like, I think those are good platforms. Like, they're really good kasi it essentially anybody could, just do it and then hop on in and then find their market or, their readers.
I heard of this interesting statistic about not Patreon, Kickstarter actually. Kung ika-count mo ang Kickstarter as a publisher,
Platform.
it publishes more comics than Marvel or DC or something. Or like, nandun sila sa level na ganun kadami. Pero hindi kasi siya counted as publisher kasi platform siya. Pero it's not that there's no demand eh. I think, it's just a weird... Comics is niche. Yun talaga.
Yeah, it's niche talaga. And the thing kasi with niche is that, for example, and this is not below naman to the local scene. Like, if you sell just in Comic Con or if you just sell in Comic Con, you're sort of limiting your audience, especially now that, we have second generation, third generation Filipinos overseas who are trying to reconnect and discover local creators. And like, just putting it in the digital just because, like, the internet is accessible by almost all of the world's population, you are also increasing the eyeballs. And I think na parang, and this is gonna be so shitty, like if it makes it through the final edit, I'm sorry people, but like, if you're just, this is what's annoying to me, like if you're just making things na kasi Pinoy pride or something like that, and you're catering to the Filipino audience first, like, kailangan intindihan yung socio-economical buying power. Like, we're not like Taiwan, or we're not like other countries na you could be self-sustainable marketing to the local population because buying power is really high. Pero the moment you like open it up and just because like diba, English is our second language, ganyan, na you are opening up to more people who would be curious or who would look it up. Na I think, that's just, parang if for example, like Animal Crossing, diba? Na the design of it specifically is that there's a lot of incorporation of Japanese folklore that isn't as in your face.
Yeah.
Like I wanna call it, and this is just me, I wanna call it lazy thinking na parang, diba yung why all the items are leaves, why Nook is a tanuki, parang they're all rooted.
They are Japanese. Yung leaf thing is yeah.
they're deeply rooted in
Japanese myth.
Japanese folklore. That you have some people who would just like, this is so stupid. Why are all items like a leaf, or like why is a raccoon selling me stuff? But like for those who are interested in why they are what they are, then they go search and then they learn about something, and then maybe that opens up their world to yokai, diba? So parang I feel like that is how Philippine heritage should be treated, and it shouldn't be na parang, oh, I'm gonna make a platformer na all the enemies are Philippine mythological beasts, when na parang kasi it's still conqueror mentality na hero's journey pa rin, when the reality is like when you see in the east na even like sa environmental na na we didn't really conquer as much lands because we're very rooted in permaculture or agriculture, like our lands are better, as opposed to wheat, planting wheat where the land dies, and then you have to find I don't know if this is like all accurate. I'm just this is a conversation I had with a friend, a history friend. But like he told that to me, and that stuck. Like at least the essence of it stuck. Na parang that's why colonizers were. It's because like they didn't have enough land to cultivate their food, or they didn't have a lot of plants that have that can be sustainable for them, or help their demands, and us like in this area, like we have that, we have that luxury that can actually solve world hunger.
Pero
But
how does it connect dun sa sa shallow implementation ng Filipino myth sa, say, something like a video game? Like,
I think
paano siya conquer mentality pa rin if we just use myth, kumbaga?
kasi like Bakunawa, diba? Na it's all explaining natural phenomena. Na parang if you look at her like her deities, and na it's all explaining death, explaining the seasons.
Yes.
So when you look about that, like Greek is the same, but their deities are more personality based, na parang to a point of justification of cheating and stuff like that. Pero parang when you think about it and you look at the deities, at least in our region, they're all peaceful coexistence. Na parang, di ba yung sa Bicol, na like one mountain is the fire was stolen from that. So kaya yung mayon, and then the mountain beside, which I'm forgetting the name right now, kaya siya hindi volcano and he's just a mountain. It's because one of the gods. Like, so it's more of explanation of what is there already, parang making sense, which is by default it's more community, it's more parang peaceful coexistence with nature, diba? Na parang
I feel like sometimes I don't know if this is shitty, maybe it's a shitty thing, pero it's all people from the city trying to use these things that had to explain away things for people who were living in the country. Alam mo yun? It's like,
yeah.
And they always want to make yung tikbalangs live in the city or like some postmodern thing. It's fine naman. I've enjoyed quite a bit of that naman din, the truth be told. Pero like there's just, it's like I think someone explained it to me na Pinoy myth sa atin is the shorthand of Americans for superheroes. If American exceptionalism, parang ganon. Tapos it's such a limiting thing then, and I don't think a lot of people quite understand the implications of a lot of Pinoy myth. Like Kapre comes from kafir, which is nagsimula siya as a derogatory term para sa slaves.
Non-believer in Islam.
So I just think na this is like yung theory kasi like, a bunch of people saw Moors, mga slaves or something, tapos they thought that they were monsters. And
Yeah.
parang to present that as a Studio Ghibli type, oh, look at yung wonder of it. Parang, that's crazy for some people who have never seen trees. Ganun.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a real disconnect sometimes in presentation of Pinoy myth in that at least a lot of yung popular creatures, I'm kind of sure that they're all supposed to be scary. Alam mo yun?
Yeah. Yeah, like ang kapre, diba? It's considered a neutral monster.
Neutral, yeah.
Yeah, but like it can get angry if you cut down the tree that they're supporting. So which is why parang yun I think yung beauty of our mythology or our folklore. It's because there's always a reason why they do bad things. Like whether it's to protect nature, it's the balance of life.
There's an interesting comic na local na I don't want to just shit on like Pinoy myth kasi parang people have done that. Pero there's this actually really cool implementation ng Duende myth yung sa Canto Inc. na I think I read like I have yung book here pero I started reading it dati. Pero like yung may duende sa loob ng isang PC. Tapos someone called someone to fix it. Tapos akala niya tech person. Kasi I think that's interesting kasi I think that's more character-based and situational comedy. Pero then, I think, to clarify, I think, yung use ng Filipino myth as boogeyman or like super villain or like it's just so it's lazy sometimes. Ganun.
Yeah, it is.
And hindi siya self-reflexive. Hindi siya tunay na postmodern. It's just a copy.
Hindi
of
nga.
a copy. So, parang kanyari, if you aminin naman natin na Neil Gaiman influenced a lot of yung local writing. The way Neil Gaiman would write about something, there's a subversion, pero in that subversion, there's an understanding. Sa atin, we're just subverting something that we barely understood prior. Ganon.
Yeah.
Yan.
And yeah, I think underutilized ang Philippine culture in terms of, creating stuff. Whether it's too mahugot, alam mo yun, appealing too much to the mainstream, or parang I mean now, like, there are really interesting takes on it. Like, diba si Jamuel with Darna and sila Carl. Pero parang, like, to me, that is how it should be. Na it should be truer to actually who we are as people.
Yeah, like all of these things na we're using as characters, like mga tikbala nga ganon, they should be there to explain who we are as a people. Not to sell a comic book. And I know that we should sell comic books and like that's a good hook for people. Pero if I guess I'm looking for more because I think I think it's been done really well now by some other people, and the repetition of it is kind of tiring then eh. I feel like there are a couple of comics that are manga influenced pero using Pinoy myth. That's an interesting mix. I don't know how it's gonna go kasi parang
pero mangas are deep pa.
Ano na?
Mangas, I feel, are deep. Like, you have shitty manga that just adheres to popularity. Pero, something like Demon Slayer, something like, even Hero Academia, like, even though Hero Academia is, a play or a statement of, superheroes, iba pa rin eh, kasi parang, kita mo yung
it still expresses yung understanding ng Japanese people of certain things. Kasi it's still, if that was done by a Westerner, mas cynical siyang point of view of superheroes. Pero this is actually treating superheroes and bureaucratic systems as, it works within the system. That's a very Japanese thing. Kasi the superheroes there are all licensed and they are service industry. Kumbaga in a way. Or like, mga
parang
sila
for
basically.
Society, diba? Na down to like, the mundane things like doing patrol, mentorship, apprenticeship, parang it's very Japanese. Na, like something like that, I mean, I know it's mainstream and it's a bad example. something like that. I want that. Like, I have nothing against Philippine culture and mythology being used. But it has to be something deeper. That it has to retain who we are and not just like parang reskin lang, 'di ba, ng existing ang tawag dito? Existing IP or something.
I think si Julius Villeneuve is doing a great job at that, using yung sa El Arcangel, honestly.
Yeah.
Yung pang-incept niya lang, yung lahat ng Pinoy myth na to ay pang-incept niya lang into focusing on lives of informal settlers, na ganun. Yung mga people on the fringes. And I think
Of society.
yeah, I think that's truly interesting, and sobrang gustong-gusto ko yung work na yan. I always try to recommend it to people who want to start buying comics here kasi
Yeah.
it's a good in. It's interesting. Ayun.
Naging comics eh. Game developer.
Game developer comics. Pero like, it's still, is it like, ewan ko, you started it.
I started it. Pero
Wait
like
lang
to me.
the disclaimer, like, baka pretty soon, I'm gonna be adding to that trash pile na din of, like, Pinoy myths with, like, the certain projects that we're doing right now. So, I am thinking about it and wanting to, I feel like a lot of comic books in general are
honestly, like,
reactions
there's
to
nothing
older
bad
comic
with
books.
being reaction.
I've always felt that
Reactionary
way,
to
and I
existing
want to
work.
be
Kasi
that
all work naman at this point is derivative. There's very few really genuine innovative stuff. And even innovation is building on a foundation. But yeah, I think, that's the thing na parang Bandersnatch, when it came out, people were like, oh my god, this is a new form of television and stuff like that. And like, to us, parang,
I would understand that reaction if there were no
Hindi
video
sila
games.
exposed
If video
against,
games was not mainstream, but it was already mainstream by then.
Yeah.
So it's like every gamer is like, that's a shitty version.
That's a shitty thing na parang like, and I think, that's why I feel that it would be interesting to see comic people make games, like, advancing ways to tell stories better. Like, that's exciting to me.
I hope, pero I feel like
Especially if you have somebody like, hindi to patronizing. Pero like, especially what you did with Windmills, na exploration of yung actual form of comics, like, and reinventing those ways, like, those would be super exciting if it was moving, and if it was done in a special, I don't know, like making it 3D, or really utilizing camera. It would be exciting to see you.
Did you ever read yung may Chris Ware comic book that he did on a iPad?
Which one is this one?
Merong sa iPad, tapos may part na you cover up yung face ng character with your hands, and then you open may one hand, and then iba. Yung ganon. It's like really clever. I haven't played it after.
Diba?
Pero like,
Yeah,
pero
stuff
I
like
feel
that.
like,
That's exciting.
I feel like ang daming really good creators right now online, but I also feel like I used to advocate for like really short works to build up yung stamina and like creativity ng mga tao to like tell stories, kasi you can tell a story in few panels. If you can tell a story in like in 4 panels, you could learn to tell a story in 8 panels, in 16 panels. Ayun, pero like small increments, marathon. Ganun si Alan Moore nag-start eh. It's like 1 page comic strips, and then 1-pagers, ganun. So I always try to advocate for that for people. Pero lately I feel like the movement is just short strips for the sake of short strips na, and I hope na yung generation na to tries to go longer sa tunay lang.
Yeah.
I think Richard Mercado does yung longer ganon. It's just I hope na we're not shortening lang yung ating
Attention
span. Pero I'm kind of old. I don't know na din yung certain aspects of what's popular in culture right now. I mean, I know it, but it's not popular to me in a way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think we're both counterculture in that way. Kasi even in games, like I generally prefer shorter games kasi wala na akong patience
Yeah.
to play really long games.
Kaya
But
nilalaro mo yung short game na Animal Crossing, right?
but the thing with Animal Crossing is it's basically, a big sandbox idle game.
And it's it's a short game in that yung moment-to-moment experience is pretty, yun yung makukuha mo agad yung gusto mo.
Yeah, it's short in that way. Pero like before kasi when it came out, I was playing it for 8 hours, 10 hours.
Yeah.
I got called out at work for like, Gwen, fix your life. Why are you? Kasi
first time kong na-experience uli yung it's like 6 a.m. and I just played Animal Crossing. Like, I don't like games that I don't get super addicted into games like that na to that extent na parang it's such a joy. Pero like I love sorry, Animal Crossing talk. I love that this is a game that doesn't give a shit if you play 15 minutes a day or 1 hour a day. It's kind of impressive yung balls of it na parang it just calls out to you. It's like it's like the opposite of a game in the way that it doesn't nag you eh. A lot of game design right now is nagging eh kasi mobile, right?
Oh, yung science of addiction, which is, or psychology of addiction that you have to combat.
Although Animal Crossing has that with the knockmile system eh, so
Pero that's still completely by choice. And it's not like in your face asking you to do. Like if you were, I feel like that specific quest system was made there for people who don't know what to do or to guide them and then may reward system lang.
I don't feel like it's unethical. It's like
Yeah.
Ang galing ng busy work. Anyway, balik tayo sa comics. We'll go back to Animal Crossing a little bit later.
Hindi kasi like, ngayon kasi nag-ayos ako ng gamit. Yung binaba ko lahat ng books ko. Tapos, natawa lang ako kasi literal yung books ko or non-fiction. Cause parang, hindi ko alam eh. Parang feeling ko kailangan ko nga actually ng mga young adult or mga fantasy or mga fantasy novels. Kasi nung binaba ko yung books ko, like either it's about politics, it's about, history, and then I have yung mga outlier na Art of Satoshi Kon, which is still political. And then Sin City. Tapos parang like literally after like my non-fictions about from chemistry to whatever. But wala talagang kasi syempre science high school ako galing. So hindi natanggal sa system ko to just be naturally curious about so many things that have no direct effect in my work. But nung nakita ko, like literally half ng books ko that after that is ang tawag dito, comics, tas half like game books. Like equal sila. Na medyo natawa ako na parang, wait lang. Kasi meron ako nung complete collection of comics. Tas meron din ako yung history of games throughout the ages na per platform, ganyan.
Or borrow some of those game books kasi interested in ako, pero I've never had like actual game history books. Mostly comic book history lang ako.
Na meron akong kinokollect boss fight, which is, I think I have 3 na experiences, cultural implications of certain book. And parang one book is one game. So I have Splunky, Earthbound, and then Metal Gear. So and I think I have Katamari on the way. Like kasi in-order ko sila one by one so that para hindi pressure na, I think they're like 20 na ngayon. Na para hindi pressure. And then of course I start with the ones I like. Na games that yung Earthbound actually was wrong shipping. I ordered something else. And
what did you order?
I think, I forgot which one I ordered actually. Pero parang, that's like
Another World
something.
na dapat, tapos Earthbound yung pinadala.
Earthbound. Nirefund naman nila. It's just nice of them. And then they said, just keep the book.
Aww.
Pero, parang like to me yun, na cultural, na I have yung history of Japanese games, tapos biglang nilagay ko yung history of Pixar sa game book collection ko, na Doom, ganyan, even FPS, kasi I feel na even though very indie game talaga, or like borderline art house yung mga games that I am attracted to, of course it's essential then to know the landscape itself.
Yeah.
So I have like
appreciate
casual.
yung art house more if you know what it's rebelling against then, you know.
Yeah, oo. Like I also have Tetris, the comics. Parang yun yung book yata.
Kay Box Brown? Damn.
So good, yeah.
It's a good,
so,
nakakatawa, si Mimi was an early liker of yung gawa ni Box Brown before siya history stuff.
Yeah.
Kasabayan niya yata siya ni James Kochalka, idol na si James or something. I might be wrong. Pero like, I think I read his first short comic which is about, I think, alcoholism niya lang. Honestly.
talaga.
Tapos, I'm so surprised na yung naging yung niche ay yung Tetris, right? And then he also did yung kay Andre the Giant na biography. It's such interesting topics, ang galing.
Yun, actually, that's super nice. Na, ang tawag dito. Yun, tapos like, I mean, even yung mga fictional books ko, when I look at them, either they're like borderline Star Trek nerd na game, books that would be attracted to that. Or alam mo yan, sobrang Italo Calvino, mga ganyan. Milan Kundera. Na parang nung tinitingnan ko kanina yung mga set of books ko, parang shit, ang kalat ko. Tapos may Judge Dredd, ganyan, Transmetropolitan.
Judge Dredd.
Na parang like, tapos biglang not funny, haha, yung comic about a version. Tapos, na short comics. Parang nung nakita ko yun, parang like, kung titingnan mo yung, parang shit, wala akong taste. Hindi in the sense na, nagko-consume lang ako. Doon ko nakita. Na, of course, I have the essential books. It's just like game architecture, mga architecture of games, ganyan. Like, I have those books because it is my life's work to games. But I find that the things that I'm generally attracted to outside of game, you can't place them. I think they're very kalat, which is fine. Like sa akin kasi, when they were making this game, na parang when we saw it, like it was very sweet. It was, hindi siya yung, alam mo yung normal na, oh my God, like I generally don't like, na parang platformer, high action, yung pixel perfect. Na, at a point in my life, I enjoyed games like that. Pero I guess yun nga, tumatanda na tayo.
I love those games. But anyway.
Pero like, to me now, when I saw the game, na it's a very short game. And I think I showed you the game. Yung sa phone.
Alalan?
Yun sa phone.
Hindi ko maalala.
Na sa Greenbelt yata pinakita sa'yo. Na yung white screen and then na ganun. Like, very short, very sweet. And then, parang ako like, fuck, alam mo yun, parang, wow, ang galing, naisip. Tapos, parang, that's what I want for games. And this is just like, not limited locally. Na, if you have somebody from the outside who has different ideas that doesn't conform to what a game is. And then, give them the tools or give them like a partner to create something para, they don't feel down by it. Na, like, it's interesting things na, what would an architect make, if they were given that chance, as a game. Which is, I think, Manifold Garden has done that really well. Even though, how long has that game been made? Na parang through innovation or really genuine stuff that would excite me are in that na parang, it's the fringes or it's in the intersection of industry. Like I would be interested what a fashion designer would think of, or like a seamstress would think of. And
Alam ko yung sa fashion designer, isa siyang clicker game na sa sweatshop.
no naman, pero like, management, parang diner dash. Pero sa, like, child slavery. But, na, pero kasi like, if fashion designer, tapos, if something as like deconstruction of fashion, and then that was interpreted into a game, or, something playful, like that is what's interesting to me. Or, fashion designers using Animal Crossing to do fashion shows, diba? And then, like, okay, you see this video, diba? Na yung the accessibility of the pieces by creator code and something like that. Parang it's democratization of fashion. And then if you want it physical, which is still very important to have, something that you can touch and something that's yours. Then, you go and you buy the actual pieces. Like, that to me is just underutilized, I feel. It would be interesting for me to see, music-driven games. Kasi game audio is something that people often put, like, towards the later production.
With that, but there are several games that are also albums in a way. Ano yun yung... not Sayonara Gangster Romance. What was that?
Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Sayonara Wild Hearts. Sayonara Gangster is a novel. Sayonara Wild Hearts. That's I wanted to play that game. Ganon.
And Saitos, yung kasi hindi siya key-based, mas tempo-based. Yung that innovation in itself with rhythm games. Like, that was super cool. And saka I think Y2K is like the perfect hipster RPG na very playful with, Pokemon-like battle systems and, puzzle games. So those were like super interesting to me. Like they are commercially successful to some degree, but I just feel that these are the type of games that attract me. That may not be necessarily the public's cup of tea, pero nando na yung interest ko na minsan mas prefer ko yung mga non-traditional games.
I mean, that should be the case naman as a creator, as a someone inside. Kasi can you imagine, like, kunyari, if you're a hip hop artist and you're just talking about Kanye and Ice Cube, like, wala kang deep
That's
cuts.
true.
Like, what's your taste? Ganon. You gotta go in deep kasi you love this shit. Ganon. Kasi you wanna see it done not normally. Ganon. Kasi I think one of the important things in being like a creative person is to find other ways of doing the same things. Ganon. Like, it just helps you and it's fun, honestly. I feel like that's a huge part of creativity that I love. Problem solving. Ganon. How's your island?
I want to do like a diner setup. But
did you get in diner chairs that I sent?
Yeah, I got it.
Meron ka na ba neon, diner?
Wala pa akong table. Like, table talaga yung high commodity.
There have been articles written na parang wala talagang table sa Animal Crossing. It's so hard
wala
to find.
Masyado, yeah. It's the, they give you all this cute stuff and then, like, walang table to put on. Parang, I don't know if it's a protest na people should value tables or something. Probably not. But feeling ko like, people are underutilizing and taking tables for granted. So we should just reduce the number of tables.
May ginawa akong parang bukid style inuman na all bamboo yung paligid. Tapos inis ako kasi wala akong mahanap na bamboo table pero may bamboo bench na ako.
Uy, gusto ko ng bamboo bench. Magbigyan kita ng visit sa island, tapos pa-craft ako.
Sige, ka-craft kita ng bamboo benches.
Pero, yun din, gusto ko din ng bamboo table. Like, hello,
I have
bamboo table.
Stools. I can make you, madami-dami ang bamboo, actually.
Okay. I have bamboo in my inventory. I think Animal Crossing is, it's a cultural phenomenon talaga. It has beaten any Nintendo and has Nintendo titles existing is New Horizons specifically. As it has also created the demand na there was times diba, na sold out yung Switch everywhere.
Yeah.
Like people, I think in Japan, they were resorting to just, buying 3DS para lang to get their
Satiate
Animal
themselves.
Crossing fix.
Anything you want to plug?
Anything I want to plug? So if you have like a video game project that's, experimental, and it's niche and stuff like that, like those are the type of experiences that we are looking for Super Hot Presents. Send over pitch decks and ideally a game build to see if it's something interesting. Kasi we've funded games like Knuckle Sandwich, which feels a lot like Earthbound. And then Frog Detective, which is this Australian game. We've also supported Procession to Calvary a week before its release, which is this very funny point-and-click adventure game with the art made from Renaissance paintings. So that's super interesting and cute. And then what else do I plug? Trina and I make games. So we make a lot of games about Filipino food. We're making one you make sinigang and then there's no tutorial. Tapos you just at the end of every time like you make your sinigang. Like you can make it however, but of course like there are ways to make it. And then you get like comments or feedback na in true Filipino culture na alam mo yung kapag if you get perfect sinigang, like one of the comments is pwede ka na mag-asawa.
Gusto ko nun.
It's very Filipino, diba? Or yung kapag halimbawa sunog yung sinigang because the heat is too high or like you left it out too long na sasabihin ng isang comment, maghugas ka na lang ng plato. Sorry. So like, very playful, very fun. No tutorials. Not like cooking mama. It's just, it's something we do because we want it. And then it's yung same, like I guess going back na it's inserting Filipino culture but in a way that's accessible. And then sorry, I know this is like winding down. But we have like translate in the comments kasi all the comments are Filipino. And then when you translate it, like yung isa like pak na pak ang lasa, ganyan. And then when we translated it and we did like the stupidest thing, which is use Google Translate na pak the flavor. like so like it's all bad translation, which I think honestly that's what I enjoy those in video games, and it's a statement then with decolonization na some things are just better said in your local tongue or your diba na parang it's more if you're generally making games for the Filipino people then you should there's no harm doing Taglish or Konyo or whatever in your games or Becky language or sword speak pala. So those are things that we are doing. And then I guess yun lang na if you're a game developer, or if you're somebody who's interested in games, then this is honestly the perfect time to get into games because there's so many tools. Like it's not as it's accessible na it would be interesting to see what comic or or alam mo yung mga highbrow art people what they would make if they poured time and effort into like a playful experience. Like I think yun yung ipa-plug ko na make games. If you're not a game developer, if you're like, di ba yung Sir na game na insults and stuff like that. Like, that would be interesting with improv. Di ba? So, yun na naman. Yun na nang ipa-plug. Follow me on Twitter. Yak. At if not now, Gwen.
Nalagay natin yan sa comments. Thank you, Gwen, para sa interview. I always love talking to you. Matagal na kitang kaibigan. I love yung pag-usap natin about culture and sa design in general. Sobrang nakaka-invigorate palagi and sobrang eye-opening lagi. Now, wasn't that a nice talk? I told you were gonna be fine. Aren't you fucking fine? Fuck. Well, next week, we'll have, Rex Maliora. He's a good friend of mine. He's a comedian. He's also an accountant. He has a Facebook page that he makes funny on. He makes funny on that page. He makes funny on that page. Thank you. Josel Nicolas signing out for the Q show. I still don't know what I'm doing.